right, so we've got an odd little book here called Journeys Through Space, Experiences of Effa Danelson. And as you can see, it's a sort of pretty tiny hair. It can fit in the palm of my hand, and it's made out of this sort of red leather material, pretty loosely bound, and it's a self-published book, so it's a pretty low quality in terms of its covering. It's pretty cheap materials. The pages are decent. Here's the title page. It says Journeys Through Space, Experiences of Effa E. Danelson, published in 1904 in Chicago. So that was the first time it was published, but this edition is from 1922. So you can see there it says copyright 1922. Here's the preface. It says, let's see, the contents of this book are the experiences of the author. The simple language in which it is written needs no interpreter. A careful reading with an open mind will bring the revelation of the truth of the living life made manifest in every life. Read, reason, reflect. So this is it's a book that's sort of occult or spiritualist, as we'll see in a moment here. So, greetings. In love we seek to serve, in love we give and take. In love our hearts be ever true, in one great cause we work. 'Tis not to fight and labor to gain a mastery. We only fight and labor life's victory to win, unfolding life's sweet blossoms to fuller joy each day, by reaching ever higher and scattering as we mount the petals of life's flowers to others reaching out, to fill a cup of sorrow with love's sweet nectar too, and await with joy the morrow if today we have been true. So Journeys Through Space, Part 1. So yeah, this is about Effa E. Danelson and her sort of experiences in this sort of occult spiritual dimension and the things that she sees there. So you can see this is a journal entry. In our journey we found cities and towns, colonies they might be called, people gathered together in a common cause, men, women, and children, tiny babe, maiden, and the youth. We studied the different groups and found that it was the result of the natural law of attraction, and not in any way governed by what the person had done or left undone, the race, relation, politics, nation, religion, or cult, rich or poor. We found these groups associated in perfect harmony and love because their central sun attracted them. Sometimes it was music, sometimes flowers, others books, but all groups have a central sun from which knowledge radiates. Those who were unable to draw for themselves were placed in relation to those who were masters in their art. Everyone gave freely because all supply was free and the law was progression. The result, the more you draw from the central sun, the more you possess. So she's describing these sort of souls in a sort of afterlife place and how they gather together and share knowledge. And it's all pretty strange. It sort of takes the form of these journal entries. And these are just meant to describe experiences that she has in this other realm. Some of them are pretty strange and kind of indicate these philosophical points of view that she has about the sort of human soul or the afterlife, and some of them are might be kind of controversial takes for the time, but she was involved in all of these occult circles. So this morning we passed through a village with temples and courts. Here we found a peculiar people all dressed in king's robes and wearing crowns. Upon inquiring, we found them to be a village composed of those whose central sun was a desire to rule. There were in the same village king worshippers, so level had found level. They were all happy. We found among these people many who had died in recent years, but the majority was of older type. These were still at war and were scheming and planning how to enlarge their territory. These are they who journey into the minds of those still in the flesh world, stir up strife and plan wars. So, sort of showing how people, even after they die, are still holding on to these unnecessary things, or materialistic things. The law in life is the same throughout the whole universe. Men and women are bound only by their lack of knowledge and these things, and are loosed by the possession. Whether or not you believe in this sort of thing, it's interesting to to read these kind of stories from somebody like this, just because they can be pretty weird to read. and there are some interesting ideas that are presented in here, though it's kind of a hodgepodge. So here we have something about a spirit dimension. The question of place in the spirit dimension is a question of discussion, and many opinions have been given. What we record we know, for we have walked and talked with those now in this dimension of life, and just as we walked from location to location, finding men and women going to church, to the theater, to give alms, to rob, to find pleasure, to engage in work, all passing each other, one not knowing the other, so are they in spirit dimension. The outer garment in the flesh dimension is the symbol of wealth, of purse. Their faces tell of their training. Their actions tell of their status to the observing one. Pretty strange. And there is a little bit of what feels kind of like an overconfidence in the author of this book. So like if you read through this, especially in this next section about communications with the dead, you kind of get this sense that a little bit like they're just kind of making things up, and that there's some moral problems with that, as we'll see here in a second. So this is about communications with the dead here, and you know, if the author actually believes in this, then it's one thing, but so let's see, communications received from several persons known to be dead, so-called. These messages have been verified with the exception of the one dated March 9, 1904. We are printing it in our first book, hoping the daughter spoken of may still be in the flesh dimension, and may yet receive the message from her father and mother. So, yeah, so in these communications, she's recording what she says are communications with dead people, and there's some moral problems with that. Like, if you're telling somebody that you're talking to somebody that they love who's died, then it can be really manipulative of their emotions, and she was probably in some cases charging for that kind of service. But I'm not sure. But just how it affects people psychologically isn't always healthy. So Max's mother won't be comforted because she does not believe it is possible for us to talk to her. We are the ones to know that. I know I am not dead, and who can dispute me or tell me that I am? I am beginning to realize more and more the life that Mrs. Danelson speaks of, the life beyond all environments through the perfect understanding of the law. Not the perfect life, but the perfect understanding of life. Makes life spin along without a hitch. So even here, when she is recording what the dead person is saying, she's making them say that her philosophy is correct and everything. So it's a little self-serving. We have a body, Dad, just like the one you buried, feels the same, is used the same. The process of life must be the same, and life reclothes itself somehow. We do not lose our memories, we think. So here, having a dead child speak to their dad, it's just a little morbid and feels a little manipulative. But if she really believed it, you can't really. Yeah, it's just complicated and interesting. So here it says, it is very easy to make people who believe you are dead hear you. I enjoy it. Of course, I can talk to Effa and Ed, but you do not seem to get my meaning. Just hang on as long as you can, Mother. It is the ones who live the full life that are through with the sorrows of earth. And then down here it says, to find someone who will share with you. Effa is very good that way. She gives everybody a chance, so still saying something good about Effa Danelson there. And that's why you get sort of this tone that that this is really just all coming from Effa Danelson's imagination, and then it's sort of self-serving in that way, which makes it feel a little morally troubling. But it's still an interesting piece of history. It's interesting to look through. So Effa Danelson was an editor of a sort of an occult magazine called The Occult Digest in Chicago in the 1920s, I believe. And she was involved in all these kind of spiritualist circles in that area for some time, for decades. And this was, I think, the first book that she made in 1904. All right, and then it ends with this. Our wish is our blessing, that whatever you may ask for wisdom's sake, you may receive 100-fold better than you wish. which is a nice thing to say. All right, and there's a, it looks like somebody kept some sort of notes in the back here about something to do with the days of the week or something. All right, so that's Journeys Through Space, Experiences of Effa E. Danelson, just a interesting little self-published book on occult communications. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.